Hi. Hello. How do I normally start my videos? So today we have a Vectrex Mini brought in by Chris, who refuses to show himself on screen. Hi, Chris. Yeah, come on to the camera. Look, it's Chris Hill.
Hello.
Yeah.
Go now.
Of various things, games you loved, that sort of thing. Done lots of stuff, haven't you? Very busy. This is this, but smaller. Is it as good? And this is a prototype, yeah? This is currently on a Kickstarter. When's the Kickstarter finish?
2nd December.
2nd of December. Let's have a look. So this is, Vectrex has a wide variety of challenging and exciting arcade games. Is this an official recreation of the box?
Yes.
Nice. Whoa, so small. So cute, look at that. Oh, you get the little screen things as well. That's cool, I didn't realize that. What? It's got Pac-Man on it. Why has it got Pac-Man on the front? This is a Raspberry Pi, so the final stuff will be... Will it have the same menu as this? No? So if I go on to Mindstorm... Moment. Whoa! Okay.
Yes, on the writers of Vectrex, a vector display-based console released in 1982, which did okay when it was launched. Arguably, it should have done a lot better, but regardless, it's still regarded as an absolute classic today. I made a video about it last year, which you can take a peek at if you want to know more. On the right then is a Vectrex Mini prototype, a console that is currently on Kickstarter and should be released in September 2026, if all goes to plan. In this video I'll take a look at it, ask some questions and work out whether it's going to be any good. This isn't a paid video, it's not sponsored, I just wanted to get the lowdown.
It's like people only do things if they get paid. And that's really sad.
Let's begin with the controller. This one is a piece of crap, but the original is incredible. A block of buttons with a little analog metal stick which you can either use tabletop or in your hands. It's a real joy to hold. It plugs into and stows neatly into the console as well. Actually, this one isn't that bad, but it's still a crusty prototype, and like everything here, it will be refined. The Mini has a smaller block of buttons, a joystick, but it's switched, not analog, although I'm assured the final version will be a smooth analog stick, like the original, and it will stow in the case. In any case, it's Bluetooth, which makes things a little easier, although you're never going to move too far away from this tiny 5-inch OLED panel. You can also plug in a wired gamepad to the USB port or use the original controller through the DB9 connection, although on this prototype unit that's not ready to go. But in either case we have a maximum of 2 players and you can pick whatever controller you fancy, including an additional Bluetooth pad if you like. Excitingly, they'll also come with a dongle that allows you to use them with the original console as well, which is actually pretty cool given that the original controllers are in short supply. The unit is sold as half size, meaning half scale, so half the length, width and height of the original, and it'll have all the details of the original. This case is 3D printed, but the final will be injection molded. So we've got the cartridge slot, speaker grill, the little marquee, which will be in sticker form so you can choose your appropriate or inappropriate region if you're a rebel. It also has little slots for these screen overlays. Talking of which, whoa, look at all that colour. Compared to the originals, these current ones aren't as transparent, but the final product, I'm told, will be much more akin to the original. Even so, these ones get the job done and complete that Vectrex feel. But how does this translate into the hardware? Well, you can already see here that the twinkling of the CRT gun rapidly drawing the vector lines is already being mimicked quite well, which I wasn't really expecting to see on an LCD screen at all. The screen choice isn't finalised, but this reportedly OLED panel is doing a reasonable job of giving a Vectrex feel. Unlike a normal monitor, where every line is scanned, the original Vectrex only draws the elements needed, leaving the remainder of the screen black. That's why an OLED is a good choice, as it leaves all the unused pixels off, kind of mimicking the effect. Although you're never going to recreate that piercing crispness of the original screen. Still, even at this early stage, I was impressed. This feels kind of right. It doesn't feel like someone has slammed some crappy component into a shoddy plastic shell and gone for lunch. Talking of which, What exactly is in here? Despite Chris's objections, I wanted to have a peek. Oh, yeah, I can see why he objected. This is really prototype stage stuff. Real prototype stage stuff. Even I can assure you this won't be in the finished version, mainly because it would never pass safety checks. So we've got an Electro screen there, which is subject to change, and that's hooked up to a Raspberry Pi, a ton of hot snot, and a rather dubious wiring system. Good lord. What we have then is the Vectrex emulator, which in the final version will be part of the console's firmware. I've asked if you'll be able to mod it, and I was told no. But it will be based around an ESP32, which is kind of like a Raspberry Pi, but cheaper and more suited to this project. The Vectrex core emulation was developed by these fine folks, but the Vectrex mini version will be tweaked to work in this, well, mini environment. I haven't had much experience with the emulator myself, however I noticed on this prototype there were issues with certain games. Clean Sweep wasn't rendering the walls properly, while Spike was missing, well, most of the gameplay. Again, I'm assured this won't be the case on the release version. Obviously, it's impossible for me to do a proper review until that version is ready, and things like the processor and components are not finalised at this stage. Nor is the menu system, which is currently using Recalbox in Tate mode, which means turning the monitor on its side, basically. All I can do is report on what I see and hear, which is what I shall continue to do. I did have a quick chat with its creator, David Flynn Ogier, to find out what was driving this project in his mind.
Why did you choose the Vectrex? Is it like a childhood system you enjoyed, or what's the reasoning behind it?
That was really a masterpiece for me. It's a legendary console, really great.
Okay.
In the 90s, you could find a Vectrex for a very nice price. And nowadays, it's really expensive and it's becoming really rare to have one that works really well. So when I met Julien is the guy who owns the Vectrex IP, the Vectrex brand. Really, he told me he had already this experiment with this English programmer, Anton, who did a very nice application for the Vectrex. I think it was around 2010. Julien got the Vectrex brand since now 21 years. It's a very long time that he's interested in this Vectrex. And but sadly, Anton's application for the iPad didn't work really well for the emulation. The application was working really good, but it didn't sell a lot. It didn't sell a lot. So you lose a lot of money with this. So when we met a few years ago, I said to Julien, that's really interesting. I really want to do something with the Vectrex, but let me think about it and I will come back to you, perhaps with an idea. And 4 years ago, I told Julien, now I know we need to do a Vectrex Mini because I collected so many minis, like the SS Mini Neo Geo, right? All the cabinet that has been done in Mini. So I talked to Julien, that would be great to have a Vectrex Mini.
No problem. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you too. How's your arm?
It's alright because I had it bouncing.
Good, okay.
I'm used to doing it.
Thank you.
So this unit is actually based on the idea made by Eric from Retro Relic's YouTube channel, but specifically made for commercial production. And I think it's in good hands, mainly because when I asked whether it would buzz like the original units, David told me that it will have the option to switch a buzz effect on or off. Can't be a true Vectrex without it. The Kickstarter units come with 12 games, which have not yet been determined, but this thing will also have a micro SD slot, so you can load in any legally obtained games that you may possess, so that's nice. This prototype has pretty much the entire library loaded onto it, and other than the light pen games, which I'm pretty certain we won't be able to play, I had good fun going through these. I don't usually get too excited about the mini consoles, but this one feels right in a small form factor. And that's mainly because it has that built-in screen. It feels like someone has merged a grandstand Astro Wars with a Vectrex and created a tabletop gaming system that was never possible in the 80s. And I kinda like that. You can just pull this off a shelf, plug it into a USB socket, and play it anywhere. With any other mini console, you still need to plug it into a screen, which defeats the point really. Although this finished product will have an HDMI out, so you can do that if you really want. Plus, using an ESP32, it has Wi-Fi, and it will use that to have a built-in clock and weather alert, so you can use it as a bedside table device of sorts. I asked David whether the reproduction boxes will be regionalised, but as yet, he doesn't know. Oh, and apparently those UV black lights you've probably seen on social media, I know I have, you'll be able to get a mini-sized version of that as well from blacklighter.co.uk, or you can get one for your original Vectrex and look super cool, regardless. Now, like Chris mentioned earlier, the Kickstarter finishes on the 2nd of December. It has, by all accounts, smashed through its target, and you can currently get the console for €149, with shipping on top, which actually doesn't seem that bad. Well, unless they charge £1 billion for shipping. Plus, there are stretch goals, and they include things like a canvas dust cover, a fake cartridge, 2 additional built-in games, and a brand new game. So that's nice. I know that this video is going out a bit close to the wire. I always seem to be deep in other projects when things like this pop up. But I asked David if he'll be making any more after the campaign finishes, and he said that there may be a few left over, but the RRP would be more than the Kickstarter price. So if you're watching this video after the 2nd of December 2025 and you want one, I hope you can get one, but if not, I'm really sorry for ruining your day. But you can always download Vectrex and emulate the thing, regardless. Anyway, until next time, I've been Nostalgia Nerd. Toodaloo.